Welcome everybody to our exciting Monday night and our Supporting Your Health Foundation series. Tonight we'll be talking about supporting your defense system with the SolleClear SI. And as always, I get so excited every time I get an opportunity to empower people through education to take charge of their health. So as you're listening and hopefully learning, just remember that's my goal so that you can start to figure out some of this stuff on yourself. So if I or your upline specialist is not available, that you are not afraid to jump in and guess what the next step's going to be and what you're going to do. So we're going to be talking about SolleClear SI, and I would like to start off with hearing about someone's exciting results with SolleClear.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Ellen, and I've been working with Soll products now under Val for a little over 2 years. And I'm here to talk a little bit about Soll SI, the Sinus and Immune Blend. Amazing blend for what knowledge I do have about herbs. It has just been really helpful for me. I suffer from a lot of allergies, food, trees, plants, enough that at certain times I've really suffered in my life with sinus infections, bronchial problems, etc. So being able to find a blend like this that can be taken orally, it's easy to travel with. I love to travel. I go up in elevation. I like to drive and go up in elevation. That's given me issues in the past. This has become, once again, adding it into a day-to-day regimen and having it near to me has been key to keeping sinus passages open. I don't have near, if any, honestly, sinus pressure headaches are very, very rare and now can be knocked out with a quick push of even 4 or 5 I'll take at one time. If I just have had I've colored outside the lines pretty quick and I can feel it coming on. That, and I like to use Tiger Balm. I do a massage on my head and have kind of learned points on my head to kind of open everything up. But that regimen and the fact you can do it daily, there is no side effects. I don't have the sinus infections I used to have. I've kept these airways healthier as well. And I just couldn't say enough good things about the SI. And I could go into other things that it's really helped me with. There's other points you could just spend and break it down. You could probably spend 30 minutes easily just talking about this one deal here. So hope everybody's well. Thanks, Val, for asking me to do a little talking about it. I do enjoy to talk. So don't know if I'm going to make tonight's group. If I don't, have a good night, guys.
So wonderful. So thankful that we got the opportunity to have Mary Ellen share that. So one of the main active parts here in the SolleClear blend is their proprietary blend. And I wanted to talk about 2 of the elements here, bilberry and eyebright, these herbs in particular. Bilberry, a lot of people don't know during World War II, bilberry was used quite a bit because it helped with night vision. In fact, it's amazing what it does for night vision. So that's one way it supports the eyes. When we think about it that way, we also realize it's working with circulation. Eyebright is another plant that the Indians referenced and named eyebright simply because when someone's eyes got kind of glossy, like when they were sick or like that, then it helped immensely with bringing the spark or the light back into the eyes. Now, both of these support both the eye health and brain health in a really great way. Greg, could you take care of adding those couple people up there so I don't mess up my slides? So bilberry and eyebright right here are fantastic. So our next 2 that we're going to look at here is fennel, mullein, and fenugreek. I should say 3. And they're very good at working with supporting the sinuses and the lungs. So fenugreek in particular, we'll talk a little bit about that one, has been, it's always one that I use for the sinuses, particularly when we had dried up stuff that would happen in the sinuses and it wouldn't move things out. And so fenugreek was something that I could use over a period of a couple of days, and it would just open up the sinuses and move things through. It was outstanding at that. Fenugreek also has another nice little side deal, is how it works to balance blood sugar. Mullein has always been known as being for working with the lungs, and I'd often done different ways of supporting the lungs just by using mullein. And some people know that when I first got introduced into herbs, I had a lot of issues with my lungs, and mullein was one of the main herbs I would make into poultices to put around my neck, things like that, to help get those lungs supported. And then fennel is going to tie in with the respiratory area as well, because of what it does, not only for blood sugar, but it's going to help with digestion, but it's also going to help with the throat. So all three of these together come in very nicely, working with the sinuses and with the respiratory system.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry for jumping in. I don't know if the co-host took, if you can click, because I can't see the people waiting to enter in. Maybe
okay, I'll check on it here in a minute. I got them.
Yeah. Okay.
So other part of our proprietary blend is got butcher's broom, celery, and quercetin. So I have a picture up here of what good, healthy blood cells should look like. Notice they're not stacked on top of each other. They've got pretty much good circular shape, and we've got some odd ones in there. They're not sticking to each other. And so butcher's broom is notorious for helping the circulatory tract and the blood, because it supports the blood in not sticking to each other. It's kind of a natural, healthy blood thinner, and it got its names back in the Middle Ages because the butchers would use this on the butcher's blocks to help clean them up, because it would dissolve the blood clots. So it's very effective for that. Celery is also working with the circulatory tract and the blood because of how it supports, my favorite way is how it supports the lymphatics, and the lymphatic system and the circulatory system go hand in hand, because of course it's involved with cleaning the blood and moving stuff out. And celery is very high naturally in vitamin C as well. So you can see right there, we have another, a lot of people grew up hearing, if you start to get sick, to take vitamin C. Well, celery is, like I said, with being naturally high in that vitamin C, it helps to support that. And quercetin really is in those deep, rich vegetables and fruits that have all the color. It's the plant pigment that gives it all that color, which it is in fact, it's the most abundant antioxidant that's out there. Quercetin is really important in this blend because it is antiviral, antimicrobial, anti-allergenic, and anti-inflammatory properties. And if you think about it, don't forget, inflammation is the root of most disease that's out there. So anytime we can get in and support and help prevent inflammation, then we are working to support health. So the SolleClear has been so amazing for me. I know that I've used it just this past weekend. Many of you know that we had our second oldest daughter got married, and I did end up with some accidental mold exposure, but I happened to have the SolleClear already packed into my blends, and then bumped it up and immediately was able to pull out of it very quickly, along with using some of the contentment blend I put right over the lymphatic ducts there in the chest. And it literally, you could feel it within minutes start to open up. So pretty amazing. And I've also had very good success with the SolleClear when as ears would get kind of, they'd feel like they had fluid in them. And as a child, I had constant earaches, and that is just not fun. So being able to come in and be able to have something that so quickly moved that out was just so powerful for me. Okay, so at this point, what I'd like to do is share and ask Micah Engel to share her story. If she will unmute herself, we'll hear about her and her experience with the SolleClear SI.
Hi guys. I think can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. You're good.
So this is one of my favorite Solle products. I started taking it in January, and I've taken it consistently every day since the very beginning of January. And just a couple notes. I have had allergies and asthma my entire life. Um, I consistently, before SolleClear, had taken antihistamines, Benadryl. I mean, I allergists. Allergists have told me that I need to move from Kansas. I live in Kansas. I'm absolutely allergic to everything native here. I'm allergic to cats. I'm allergic to dogs. And I've been taking this since January. My allergies have improved. I can breathe through my nose where before I couldn't breathe through my nose at all. I was taking the shots for allergies before. I'm completely off of all my medication for allergies, off of all my shots. Um, I consistently had sinus infections and ear infections. I got those over and over and over again. I haven't had a cold, I haven't had the flu since January. So it's definitely boosted my immune system. But another thing that Valerie was talking about before was about it helping with the hormone system. And I'm also on the Maca XD and the XL and the SolleClear, and all three of them I have felt like have boosted my endocrine system. My hormones are balanced, and I've actually lost weight with those three uh, herbs combined. And let's see, I just want to make sure I got everything because there's so much. I love this one so much. Um, yeah. Oh, and Valerie told me, so we had a huge dust storm. I don't know if anybody else was affected by this. We had a huge dust storm. Um, I'm sorry, I'm just reading the comments down here. What three? I'm taking the Maca XD, the XL, and the SolleClear. All three of those Soul products I'm taking that have helped balance my hormone system. If that answers, I think it was Tammy had a question down here. Is that right? Me too, always ear issues. What three? Yes. So, so we had a dust storm, and Valerie said, you should put some of this. My SolleClear wasn't moving this out of my system. I was continuing to have a cough, and I said, what am I doing wrong? Do I need to up my dosage of it? And she said, turn it into a tea. And within 24 hours of turning that SolleClear into a tea, which I love, it was super good, by the way, my cough has gone away. So that was awesome, excellent. I can't be more excited about one product, one Soul product. This is one of my absolute favorites. So if you guys, if you guys are on the fence and you have allergies, try it. Like I said, I'm off all my medications. I'm not doing shots. I'm just doing the SolleClear with some other Soul products. But it has helped my respiratory system immensely, my lungs. I am a former smoker too. I smoked for 4 years, and I mean, I don't feel like I ever smoked. So if you guys are on the fence at all and you have allergies, you absolutely have to just give it a try. Get 30 days worth and try it. I promise you will see results. Because I did, and I won't ever not order. It'll be my monthly order every month. So
Awesome, Micah. Thank you. Oh, outstanding. Yep. It's definitely one of our favorites. Thank you
yes,
for sharing,
excellent.
dear.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're going to turn the show over to Greg Halliday. I've asked him to talk about our adaptogen that is in this combination, and that is Suma. So I'm going to stop the share here, and at this point, I guess we will find out if I have actually made you a co-host or not. You are one now?
Awesome. I feel better already, Valerie.
Fantastic.
Actually, I already felt good listening to everybody. I could just sit and listen. Those were awesome stories and really educational. I was tucking some nuggets away, Micah, because I know a lot of people in your situation, and I've shared some of that history with you. I know what you've gone through, but I personally, so I love it. In fact, I'll never forget when Valerie taught on this when we launched it. I was just noticing this was 4 years ago, wasn't it? 2016, the SI. And do you remember, Valerie, you taught it, was it Summit? And really, by the time we got done listening to you, nobody had any question on whether or not this should just be a daily. Because of, you talked about, at that time, you talked about how it keeps the mucus right. Not just, or why keeping the mucus right, not too thick, not too thin, all that affected everything. I think that's part of what your presentation was, kind of showed how that was, if I'm remembering it right. But anyway, the Summa is a big part of this too. And I thought maybe I'd just share a couple of things about this, the particular Summa that's in this formula, because you can buy Summa. First of all, there's confusion because there are a couple of species. Number one, and some people think that one of the species is just another name for the same thing, and that's not true. It's a different species. And then also Summa is a lot of times referred to on the internet where all truth is found. It's referred to as Brazilian ginseng. Well, you know how we think that. We see it, we look it up and we think we see it written. And we have to weed through it, don't we? But they'll call it Brazilian ginseng, but it's not ginseng. It just, the root looks somewhat similar, and that's why. And there's nothing wrong with it having a common name like that. I think because people saw the root is similar in shape, but they do have their unique properties. But one thing they are similar in is that they're both adaptogens, and that's why it doesn't bother me so much that some people will call it that. Summa is the Brazilian, so it's really a Portuguese originally name, even though it's throughout South America and Central America too, and even worked its way up into North America many years ago. So it's really been used a lot because it's so versatile. And I just like to mention, you know, with adaptogens, I always kind of like the 5-finger description, because these are to me the 5 main attributes, and Summa has all of these. First of all, they always come from a category of plants that the Chinese would call superior herbs. Their superior herbs are the opposite of how we would stack them here. I don't want to come off harsh, but in Western medicine, the more the more focused and potent, to the point where maybe you better just take one dose or it can hurt you because there's going to be side effects. We tend to respect that even more. Oh, I can just get a shot and be done. It's the magic bullet that Dr. Allison loves to talk about. And it's the inverse with Chinese philosophy. Superior herbs are those that are absolutely safe to take every day. Like Micah said, you know, and like, who was the first testimony? She was awesome too.
Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen, you know, she talked about it's a daily, you know, because it's a daily. It's a daily because of the plants that are in it are safe for daily use, based in a wonderful adaptogen that is Summa. And I always say that adaptogens, that first characteristic is they're safe, any age, any amount, or the amount that the body needs is a better way of putting it. In other words, as the need is greater, you can take greater. You can match the need with the nutrition. Because really it's just giving, it works like an adaptogen because this huge, broad array of nutrients on either side of a balance. So nutrients that where the imbalance is accelerated or too hot and too harsh, needs to slow down and mellow and cool down, they will do that. Or if it's sluggish and it just can't go and it's loaded and needs to detox, it needs to clear out and move more, then there are active components that are on that side of things that play roles in that side of balancing. Now that's the second characteristic of an adaptogen. All these, and Summa's like this, components that later science has shown on both sides of imbalance. That's their, hence adaptogen, right? The third, they're all immune balancers, immune strengtheners. Strengthen means proper function. So again, modulating. If it's overactive, like in autoimmune, dialing it back. If it's underactive, which is generally the case, almost with all of us, just the world we live in, what we eat, and the stresses that all suppress immunity. Summa helps bring it back to the level of activity that should be natural in all of us. And then the fourth point is that it has many active components, not just a few. So it has them on either side of imbalance, but not just that it has them, it has lots. Summa has, I can't remember the latest statistic I saw was 18 different 18 different amino acids. Many more vitamins than people realize. Its Portuguese name means for everything. Para todo is, I'm saying it like a Spanish because I don't know Portuguese, but they say it in Spanish a lot too. It just means for everything because it is so versatile. One of my favorite stories illustrates this. We had someone walk in the office, doesn't happen very often, not sent here by a mentor. Here in Utah, they weren't even from Utah. They were traveling through, had heard about Soul somewhere from a friend, stopped in because she had this dry hacking cough. She goes, I've had this thing for months. And she actually grabbed one of our customer support reps and just started talking to her about it. I think whoever was up front at the time. And we had just recently introduced SolleClear SI. And so she told her about SolleClear SI helping her with that. Normally we don't do that, just so you know. That's not our role. But she wanted to help her. And so she actually took a bottle. I think she might have gotten her to take some Soul Vital as well, kind of foundational. Like Valerie always mentions at the end of these, that Bella Health, those foundational to me are super key. She might have gotten one or two of those foundational products, but she took the SolleClear SI and she called like 4 days later and she was happy and she was mad. She called and she said, okay, first of all, I've tried everything for almost coming up on a year and nothing has stopped that little hacking cough. And I haven't had it for 3 days now. After 1 day it went away and I haven't had it and I'm super happy. But she said, I also didn't tell you guys that I hadn't had a period in a year and it just came and I want to know what's in that. So I love that story because it comes back to what Micah said. Because Summa is heavily used throughout South America for all sorts of hormone-related issues, hormone balance issues. I mean, name them. Lots of female issues, lots of male issues, equally good for either because it is an adaptogen. But it is kind of similar to the macas, but I wouldn't quite put it where the macas are in terms of hormone balance. But it definitely has some more strength there than, say, a typical adaptogen. And so that's another like hidden benefit of Summa, why it helps extra, both immune and mood, because it deals with all those connections, the hormone connection to nervous system health. So that's the fourth thing, is lots of different active components. And the fifth finger is a really, really strong emotional response. So I kind of went through those fast. Immune, always immune strengthening, safe for everyday use, active ingredients on both sides of imbalance, lots of active ingredients, and then the final one is in a strong emotional response, or I just call it a strong connection between emotional and physical. There are 2 or 3. You can always tell a great adaptogen because the actual species of Summa that ours is 2 or 3 saponins, which are the soaps in plants. Huge number of varieties. I don't know, Valerie could probably tell you how many. It's tons and tons, I don't know, thousands of different saponins. They discovered 3 new ones in Summa that they didn't know existed in nature because they're only in Summa. And I love that because the really good super plants all have that characteristic. The Summa that we have in here, the last point that I'll just share, it's actually a 10 times concentrate. So it's the whole root concentrated 10 times. So if you look at the milligrams, I'm not sure exactly because they're part of a blend in here. They're part of that whole sinus immune blend, proprietary blend, which includes the horseradish and the wasabi as well, the Japanese horseradish. I think, if my memory holds, it's something like the equivalent of 2 capsules of just Summa. because of the 10 times concentrate, it's like you're getting 2 capsules. So for comparison, if you've taken Suma, a good quality Suma, separate, just know you're getting lots of it in the SI.
I've always loved Suma. In fact, you were at our house when I got the first sample of this to try. And I remember that I was had gotten run down because, pushing like I always do. And so I thought, I'll just try 1 capsule. And within an hour, I could feel everything opening up and I was up and running again. And so I knew I was on board with that from that point.
Yeah, it works that fast for me too. It's one of those, I think Micah kind of alluded to that. Mary Ellen?
Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen alluded to it. It is one. I always tell people some of the products in 15 or 20 minutes. Some are like that. And this is one of them for me.
Okay, let's see. There we go. Perfect. Hey, I about figured out. So we also are going to hear from Cheryl Gallagher again, and I love having this mix between the lives and some of the videos. And like I said, we've got so many people that have had great stories with this. So here's Cheryl.
Hi there. Valerie asked me to speak today about the SolleClear SI product, which I do take daily. It is actually one of the products I keep in my desk drawer. I keep 3 of them, plus my oils on my other side of my desk. But the SolleClear SI, I have found a couple of reasons I really like it. I take it every morning. I take the 3 capsules that are recommended for maintenance. And I find that this prevents me from catching colds and getting sick. When everybody around me seems to be sick and getting something, I escape that bad thing. And the way that I do it too, besides the 3 in the morning, if I see through the day I'm getting a scratchy throat, that's the first indicator for me if I'm going to get sick. Or if I wake up in the middle of the night and my throat's a little scratchy, I will down an extra 3 or 4 of these, and it just seems to just knock it out and disappear, which hence the name that Valerie and Troy came up with, it called Crud Buster. I totally agree. This is a Crud Buster. And I know my dad used to get sick every winter. He'd have like a really bad cold that would sometimes turn into bronchitis for him. And he's taken the Solle SI and avoided that issue for the last couple of years. So that's a definite win for our family. And my mom takes it on occasion as well. So I kind of got the whole family working in on that. But another thing I've noticed for me is I was one of those lucky people that never had allergies all through, childhood, young adulthood, growing up. But the last couple or 3 years, I've noticed that I will just get sneezing fits. And I have become more susceptible to having a reaction to things going on around me at certain seasons of the year. And then I think, oh, this is what people always complained about when they had allergies. But I know I have found that the SolleClear SI controls that for me as well. So it keeps me from getting sick and it knocks out those allergies feelings when I get it. So I do take this every day. I keep the one in my desk too. So very good product to have on hand. Bye.
And Cheryl is a great example. I teach always teaching to people to listen to their body because it will give you the information what you need to know. So I like to challenge people to think beyond the use of just having it in the capsule. And Micah alluded to that. And by opening up 1 or 2 capsules of the SolleClear SI and pouring boiling water over it, it makes a fantastic tea that's very effective and very quick to get in and work on things. I have found whenever you're dealing or starting to succumb, whether it's to a cold or for myself, I tend to get stuff that'll go into the lungs real quick. And is an added benefit too, it particularly I found if coughing's involved, I find if they also open up 1 capsule of the Neuro-IM, which of course is our 10 mushroom blend, and open up 1 capsule of that with 2 capsules of that SolleClear, pour that boiling water over it in a cup of water and drink down and enjoy. And it has just been a game changer for so many people. And again, this is about being empowered, having those tools, knowing where to turn to so that you have answers and you're not caught unprepared. At this point, I'm asked Laura Warwick to share a little testimony too that, again, from another spectrum and another amazing benefit that we can get from the SolleClear SI. So take it away, Laura. Oh, you might have to unmute yourself, dear.
Okay. My story is a little different. I mean, we do use it at our house for allergies and colds and that kind of thing. But I ran across another way to use it in my search to help my husband. And my sweet husband has said that I can talk about this, and he doesn't mind, and he would really like for somebody else to get something from the story. But in the last couple of years, he's had 2 pulmonary embolisms. And doctors not knowing why he was getting that, because he's very healthy. He runs 4 miles a day. He's not your normal candidate for getting a pulmonary embolism. And so we did some genetic testing, and he has what's called factor V. And it's just a blood clotting disorder. And so because of that, he is going to be on Xarelto probably for the rest of his life. And there are side effects to the Xarelto, and one of which is he's been dealing with ED. And you can imagine just how that's played havoc, you know, even on his self-esteem and the way he feels about himself, and, you know, just not being able to figure that out. And so we did not want to do another pharmaceutical. And so and he didn't want me to talk about it. So I really couldn't even ask anyone what I could do about it. And so I just went searching, and I was on Facebook, and I just put in some queries, and I came up with a post from Kristen Brunis about how SolleClear helps with the circulatory system. And she also had mentioned ED in that. And so we started with 3 SolleClear, added it to his program, and it's been a total game changer. It was the last component that we needed. He was on Maca, adaptable, all of the drinks, and that really was the missing key that we needed for him. And yeah, it's kind of been a game changer.
I love it. And what I love also too is, Laura, is that you were able to share that with someone else and they got the same results. So it's duplicatable.
Yes. Yes.
This is so huge because as I was sharing with you earlier, over the years, at least once a week, I would have someone coming in with that type of concern. And so, you know, combining the SolleClear SI with the Maca and the other elements, I just love the results that you guys got. So thank you, Laura, for sharing that. And again, tell your husband, thank you for being open to helping other people see a change. So as you can see with the SolleClear SI, you know, it really is coming in and working on so many different basic parts of the foundation. Not only that, you're seeing all the different leaves where we talked about when we have dis-ease, where we have different conditions. Look how several of those were shared about and talked about just in the testimonies that we heard. We've heard about asthma, we've heard about sinusitis, we've heard about hay fever, just off the top of, you know, my head here. So SolleClear SI really does come in here and help to support and work on the constitution, the foundation, which is going to impact our constitution and how it expresses itself in our health. And I thought this quote from Benjamin Franklin was very appropriate here, talking about an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So yes, it is something that I take daily. It has become a given in my every day when I travel. Therefore, I think it's one of the reasons that whenever I do run into something, I am able to bounce back so much faster because I've consistently got it going in my system. And like Greg was saying, I am a staunch believer in the Bella Health Package. These are essentially almost all the elements that we started with when we started with Soul, and they do work and support that foundation so that those roots are good and healthy. So we have beautiful, healthy leaves that are coming in. And like Laura was referencing too, her husband was already utilizing the drinks and the probiotic, and adding that SolleClear into it just made a complete package that had that target identified, and the SolleClear was helping to identify, just like for the people with the asthma, the allergies, for the ears when they get stopped up. So can you see why, especially in this day and age, why I believe this is such an integral part in supporting our system? get in, support that foundation, make it strong, and build something that you can get and continually get and depend on getting great results with. So kind of want to finish off with this quote. It says, remember, when disaster strikes, the time to prepare has passed. Otherwise, it is worth it, in my opinion, to take the time and the lifestyle adaptations to work and support on that concentrate on that foundation, so that when you have something that comes out of the blue, or you are blindsided, like Troy and I were with his health crisis earlier this year, I know, hands down, without a doubt, no question, the fact that we had spent the time investing in creating that foundation for him is the reason that he recovered and bounced back and is still here with us. So yes, I can honestly say I am ready. The question is, can you? So next week, we'll get to talk about SolFlex PI and the muscular system. And remember, every Monday night at 6:30 Central Time, we're doing these. And of course, they're recorded and then they're put up on the YouTube channel the next day. I want to challenge you, because in my mind, my belief system is, once we have knowledge imparted upon us, it is our duty and our responsibility to share that information. We're not supposed to keep it to ourselves. We're supposed to make it available, help people, and just give them the opportunity to take charge of their health, their life in this instance as well. So at this point, I'd like to invite any other conversation, anybody have any thoughts or experiences that they've had with the SolleClear SI. I would love to hear them. But you do have to unmute yourself for us to hear you. Yes, I saw you. So, Ashley Brandon, have you got anything you can share?
I'm just in awe about all the stories that were shared tonight. And there's no doubt in my mind that using these herbs for years now have built that foundation that you are teaching about every Monday. So I'm just thankful. Yeah. I'm really just mind blown right now about all the amazing stories and information tonight. So thank you, Val.
Oh, you're welcome. And this is one I'm like, I knew there would be so much. It's so exciting. It's so hard I could teach 2 whole days on nothing but SolleClear SI. It's that exciting. So yeah, Tammy Peterson, have you got one to share?
Well, I feel like since this whole COVID thing at home, I never realized how bad I feel all the time because of allergies and because of being on the Gulf Coast, and there's barometric changes. And then it's just a constant, it feels like your head is in a sieve. And since I started, I think Hawaii, you did a out of the capsule. And since I have started opening those capsules up, it takes it away so fast. I cannot survive without it. Like, I start panicking if I do not know where my SolleClear is, because it's so bad here all the time. So I thought I've had COVID for 5 months, but as it turns out, it's just living in Houston. So I feel the same about like what y'all said about Kansas. I've been telling my husband, we just need to move because I'm going to die here of like barometric pressure. But anyway, I love this so much. And this to me is just a game changer for, and now ED. Wow. This is amazing.
Excellent.
I was just gonna say, don't move to Kansas.
I don't know where to go.
You think Texas is bad? Don't come here.
Wonderful. Anybody else have anything to share?
This is just a fun fact, Valerie. I forgot to say it. Does anybody know what the herb is on the label of SolleClear SI? Because we have a little. It's not just random. The herb that's pictured, the silhouette. Anybody want to guess?
I thought it was random.
Greg, I've been with you for 6 years, and I just am finding this out.
Ditto.
I feel hurt almost.
It was random.
Totally thought it was
Not random, absolutely. Well, okay, we got to do a better job telling our secrets, don't we? Yeah, that is Suma. So we're using the root, but that's what the bush looks like. Sorry, I got it. There it is.
Well, that's awesome. I was familiar with what the root looked like, but not the leaf.
Yeah.
The top.
Yep.
So do you typically have is the adaptogen typically the plant that is focused
Oh,
on?
Valerie, you're so smart. It typically is like, here's Solmega, that's sea buckthorn, which is really the adaptogen in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic, outstanding. I tell you, the SolleClear SI really does taste good made as a tea. And when I first did it, I have a love of hot things, and you guys know there is wasabi in this. So when I first did it, I didn't bat an eye or whatever, just drank it. But then as I started sharing it with people, no one has had an issue with it, and it's phenomenal because it is such a powerful wasabi. Yet people are drinking. Of course, I think too when they're drinking it, they feel like crud, so they don't care. They just want to take it. But we have children that drink it with no issues. Our grandchildren will do it. So, yeah,
You said it.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, you told me, you warned me that it was kind of spicy. I love spicy, but I did not find it spicy at all. Not at all. So it doesn't bother me at all. It's actually really good. And I prefer it over the capsule when I'm having like a bad allergy day. So.
So one of the reasons it's so much faster acting in the tea is the warmth and the heat is going to drive and work with the catalytic properties to drive this in faster. You will get much faster and almost instantaneous results, it feels like.
Did you say 2 SI and 1 IM?
Yes, or you can just do 2 SI. The IM we've thrown in, we found it very effective when we've got the hardcore coughing that's been stuck around for a long time, and maybe someone comes and reaches out to me, and that's been their issue. So we add that one in. And I actually got that tip from Krista Villiers, who's an ND down in Louisiana.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I love having this many people on here chatting, so I don't want to cut anyone off before they get a chance. And it's nice to see Allison and her mother. Phyllis's beaming smile there.
Hello. I was also going to mention, Greg, you had asked, or you had mentioned para todo in Spanish. It's the same in Portuguese, but it's para tudo. And suma means total or summary. So it makes sense.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm so excited. I hope I get to see this many smiling faces next Monday as you indulge me when I get the opportunity to teach again. So everybody have an amazing week, and remember to look for the recording tomorrow if you have can think of anyone that you think will benefit and to share this information with. All right. Love you guys. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Val. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.